This episode features a 2012 Chevy Camaro convertible for sale at an auction. First of all, let's start with the smart chart, just so we make sure we don't forget to look for anything. When shopping for a car, you need to go through the exterior condition, the engine condition, the interior condition. Make a test drive if it's possible and then check the mileage. Just keep in mind that there is really no way to be 100% sure a used car won't need any repairs. Before we start, I know that shopping for a car can be stressful. Usually you have a family, you are working full time, and you really need a car right now, not in a year from now. So you're on a tight schedule and budget. I mean, when you're buying a car, you expect not to put any additional repairs money at least for 3 to 4 years. And at the same time, there's really no way to be 100% sure a used car won't need any repairs. What I would like to share through my work is ways to minimize the risk and deal the best price as fairly as possible. Paint job. You're looking for inconsistencies in paint job. Panels that seems to be lighter or stronger in color than the rest of the car. Usually you need the sun to be shining bright in order to kind of see how the light plays on the paint. The thing is that cheap paints on cheap aftermarket parts doesn't stick very well over time. Body condition. As always, this should be the most obvious part. When you're walking around the car, look for any dings, broken parts, scratches, rust, inconsistent alignments in between the hood, panels, bumpers, and doors.
It does feel a bit tighter on this side than on this side. Now, thanks to the sun, I don't know if you can see it, but it's clear that the bumper is blurry while the rest of the car is what I would call factory paint. So it's pretty sure that the bumper was painted. And since this panel seems factory clean, now I'm also not sure about the paint quality on this door. It doesn't seem exactly the same redness than the rest of the car. This one seems darker than this panel. Perhaps this whole panel as well as the bumper has been painted. Now the next thing to do would be to look for clues. anyway, and everything seems fine. It seems like somebody did glue this light back. So there's definitely something odd over here.
Wheels and tires. First of all, look and see if all 4 tires are the same make and model. Then, take a simple penny, insert it in between the tire tread. It will give you a rough estimation on how deep they are. Finally, check the rims for scratches, pothole damage, and faded paint. Headlamps and tail lights. Check if the headlamps are becoming bluish and yellow. This is common with non-UV treated transparent plastic. With time and sunshine, they slowly degrade. This means either the car was sitting too long facing the sun, or the car has spent most of its life on the road. This is why sometimes yellow blurred headlamp can give you a rough estimation on the actual mileage. Sunroof. At this stage of the investigation, you simply want to verify that all the windows are closed tight and properly. The sunroof can unalign after a crash, so inspect it as well.
The soft top is also very clean. Everything is beautiful.
First of all, check the oil level before you start the engine.
Alright, there's enough oil and it's clear, beautiful, and smells good as well. All is good.
Once that's done, start it up and listen. Ideally, a cold start is the best way for checking an engine. If it's too rough, you know it's usually packing a big load of mileage.
I have seriously never seen such a smooth engine. I'm seriously impressed. Maybe the muffler is so high that I'm not hearing the engine or something, because this is smooth. Alright, from outside it's really the muffler that's making all the sounds. Actually, now I am starting to hear the ticking sound of the engine, which isn't so smooth anymore. It's probably the muffler that is covering up the sound of the engine.
Exhaust gas color. Meanwhile, check the colored gas coming out of the exhaust. Is there any oil as well? There is 3 main colors that could indicate engine failure: dark black, blue, or white gray. The usual color should not be noticeable in summer and very light gray in winter. Oil leaks. While the engine is running, check for any oil leak under the engine bay. Engine bay inspection. After letting the engine heat up to normal temperature, it's the perfect time to inspect the engine bay. So shut the car off and check and see if there is any weird smells, whether it's coolant fluid or burnt smell. Look for any steam or smoke all around the engine. Then, if the dipstick is available, check the oil level again. Try and smell it as well.
Check the main condition. Is there any rust all around that could indicate that the car has been into a crash? You see, sometime when a car has been hit, the hood is not sealed anymore, so it lets water in. It lets water in places that water was never able to go in at the first place. So you have bolts, you have those kind of bolts that can start rusting, and you have like excessive surface rust appearing everywhere. In this case, all seems fine and beautiful.
Interior condition. Look for any interior wear mark.
Interior wise, you can see that for a 2012 car, everything is clean, as you may expected from a General Motor car. A lot of cheap plastic. So now the interior, we can have a better look at it, and the seat seems dirty after all. And all in all, I don't really like this texture that has been used. It's very cheap. In fact, everything looks cheap inside, except maybe the badge.
This kind of cars, the mileage plays a big part in their values. So what we need to do is find clues all around that can justify the mileage. Look for any unusual wear and tear on the steering wheel, seats, switches, and any unusual condition could be caused by excessive use, which should indicate a relatively high mileage. Seat belts. Seat belts are made in a specific way so they lock when the car gets into a crash. You have to replace them in order to put the car back on the road. They are
Seat belts
expensive
are
parts
clean.
to buy directly from the dealer, so before resorting to the dealer, you try local stores or scrapyards. When you're desperate, you get into the black market looking for stolen parts. This is where it gets interesting.
Yeah.
Those bad people on the black market, they malhandle parts. Once they have been removed from stolen cars, they basically throw them away in their yards waiting for customers. Meanwhile, those parts accumulate dirt, rust, and all kind of nasty stuff. Nobody bothers cleaning them up before installing them. Anyway, that's the best explanation I was able to come up with after witnessing numerous recent cars with seatbelt in such a terrible state. All windows and sunroof. Check if all the windows are working properly, open them up and close them down. Now, those are frameless doors windows. Usually those windows are pre-programmed from the factory to roll a little bit down every time you open the door in order to clear the way from the roof. So check them up 2 or 3 times. Make sure all is well.
So that was the problem.
And this is a convertible, so open the roof at least a couple of times. Make sure all the mechanism is working properly.
So there you have it, off the roof. So let's close it back. There is a bit of rust on this bolt. Everything seems alright.
Windshield wipers. Don't forget to check if the windshield wipers show any malfunction. Finally, if you can, you must take it for a test drive. I would suggest to drive it in city roads until it heats up, then take it on a highway. Turn off the radio. I'm sure it will be on because they don't want you to listen to the car. So turn off the radio and just listen. Tell the salesman to be quiet just so you can focus. Mileage. After going through that smart chart thoroughly, you really should begin to have an idea on the actual mileage of the car, so check it out at the very end of your investigation. If the shown number makes you uncomfortable, walk away or try and get the best deal as fairly as possible. Cluster lights. Check and see if any cluster lights are on. Each light could indicate needed maintenance. So this was 2012 Chevy Camaro convertible. Thank you for watching and shop carefully.